it's Arlesha. I'm a purpose-driven mover and shaker, harmonizing life and ambition. Welcome to my podcast. This season, I'm talking about the special stories, lessons, and insights from my 14-plus year run in the sports industry. Throughout each episode, you'll hear about the gems that drive my career approach and my outlook on life, in the hopes it'll inspire you to harmonize your life and career ambitions. Let's get into it. Welcome to this episode of Hey, it's Arlesha. This episode, we are diving into a familiar topic that in its various versions has shaped the careers of many high achievers. It's about the idea of creating your own path, or what I have known to be the notion and slogan, make your own way. This is a theme that resonates deeply with me. We all have this internal compass pointing us towards something, but often life circumstances, societal expectations, and even our own fears pull us off track. So what does it really mean to take control and design your life and career your way? Let's get into that. One person who embodied this mindset verbatimly was Dwyane Wade, someone who not only forged his own path in basketball, but also took control of his brand, his business ventures, and his personal life in a way that was truly unique. I worked with D. Wade as a member of his management team starting in 2010, during the Big Three era when he was joined by LeBron James and Chris Bosh to go on and win 2 more championships and cement his future Hall of Fame status. Wade's star power was resounding in 2010, but it was the following years after that Big Three power move that catapulted his brand to new heights. In 2012, he made an empowering brand move in switching from Brand Jordan to design and manufacture his own collection of sneakers and apparel with the Chinese leader in athletic apparel and footwear, Li-Ning. It was this epic partnership with Li-Ning and his sub-brand, Way of Wade, that birthed the slogan and motto, make your own way. A slogan and a brand stamp that would become a guiding post for Dwyane's life. And in many ways, also as I worked with him and worked on a lot of these brand activations around Way of Wade and Li-Ning, it also inspired my decisions and my life choices as well. Designing your own way starts with intentionality. Before anything else, it's about deciding that you want to be the one in the driver's seat of your career and life. Too often, we let life carry us forward without being intentional about the direction. We take jobs because they are offered, accept roles that are expected of us, and fall into routines that feel normal. But when you want to carve your own path, that all changes. It requires a shift from being reactive to being proactive. What do you want your life to look like? What do you value? What unique skills and perspectives do you bring to the table? When you start to ask yourself these questions, you realize that you can create a career and a life that aligns with your true self. Dwyane Wade lived this out. Yes, he was an athlete, but he didn't limit himself to just what was expected of him. He saw potential outside of sports and moved with purpose toward business ventures, brand partnerships, and even family commitments that reflected his values, as evidenced by the book that he released during the same era in 2012 titled A Father First. When you decide to make your own way, you tend to encounter risks. Doing things differently from the norm will invite challenges. It's not always easy, and often you'll be the one taking leaps that others don't understand, like leaving a very popular US-based brand that sits within the Nike ecosystem, to be an ambassador of a Chinese athletic footwear and apparel company not known to many in the United States. Dwyane made waves not just for his play on the court, but also for how he approached fashion, brand partnerships, and life off the court. He saw fashion as an extension of his personal brand and worked hard to break stereotypes about what athletes should look like or how they should show up as their authentic self. I'll never forget the reaction the fashion world gave him when he donned those hot pink pants during the 2012 final series before Game 6 against the Indiana Pacers. If you are a sports fan, more specifically, if you are an NBA fan, you know what I'm talking about. At first sight, he was made fun of. It was Rick Kamla of NBA TV at that time calling his outfit choice a flagrant fashion foul. And LeBron took some digs at him as well for the choice in his pants. I'm just glad the Heat ultimately won the game that night. I mean, all of us in the office, we were all glad. But it was a risk worth taking, setting Wade up to put up his unique stamp on the emerging NBA fashion scene and driving both brand and business opportunities we would later capitalize on. The man who was once ridiculed for his hot pink pants would later strike a fashion partnership with one of the world's luxurious fashion brands, D Squared, and create impact and disruption in the sock accessories category, making waves with Stance socks, who would ultimately become the official on-court sock of the NBA for the 2015 season, all in part to the hype that was drummed up with their collective partnership with Dwyane, the man who wore those hot pink pants. In your own career, it's about understanding that when you create your own lane, you're likely going to face opposition or skepticism. It may be a new business venture that others think is too risky, or it could be choosing a life path that diverges from what your friends or family expected. The key here is resilience, trusting your vision, and not letting the fear of failure stop you from trying. Because failure, when viewed through the right lens, is just another form of learning. If you're enjoying this episode so far, would you enjoy it even more with visual examples of the very topic I'm discussing right now? I'm sure you're nodding your head saying yes. So I am here to remind you that I've shared the insight peek into my career scrapbook, which commemorates over 100 memories during my 14-plus year run in the sports industry. And it's live on YouTube. The scrapbook sets the theme for the career and life lessons that I will continue to share this season on the podcast. I highly recommend you tune in after this episode if you haven't already done so. I'm excited to continue to take you through the gems between the pages. The link to the scrapbook video is in the show description. Enjoy. One of the most powerful parts of creating your own path and making your own way is the ability to redefine what success looks like for you. In many ways, society paints a narrow picture of success, climbing the corporate ladder, hitting certain financial milestones, or achieving social prestige. But what if that doesn't resonate with you? What if success for you means more freedom, more creativity, or the ability to spend more time with your family? By creating your own way, you're also creating your own metrics for success. In the case of D. Wade, success wasn't just about winning championships. It was also about being a present father, building a fashion portfolio, and being seen as a trailblazer in spaces that athletes hadn't traditionally occupied. His definition of success was constrained by what others thought it should be. This redefinition of success is something we should all think about. It's something that I've certainly been used to, having been around a client and a person like a D. Wade for as long as I had. For me, working with Wade helped plant the seeds of redefinition in my life. What does success look like for you? Is it about how much you earn? Or is it about having the freedom to do what you love, even if it's not conventional? The path you create is not always going to be linear. When you're designing your own way, you have to embrace flexibility and change. Sometimes things will unfold in ways you didn't expect, and that's okay. You might pivot in your career, or your personal goals may shift, and that doesn't mean you failed. In fact, flexibility is one of the most important parts of making your own way. Think about the athletes who've had to change the way they play the game, or the entrepreneurs who shifted their business models when they encountered obstacles. Being adaptable is part of the process. Being on his management team for 10 years, I watched Dwyane's career evolve, and so did his goals and priorities. The same applies to me. I took many pivots during my time directing those brand efforts for Wade, and while within the walls of CAA Sports and their basketball division, I embraced flexibility, growth, and change as I made my pivots from athlete management to athlete marketing, where I got on the deal-making side of the business, and then ultimately to brand strategy within the agency's brand consulting division. It's important to allow yourself the room to change direction when necessary and to embrace the idea that growth often requires evolution. Ultimately, making your own way isn't just about carving a path for yourself. It's about building a legacy, or what I also like to deem as industry impact. What are you building for others to learn from, be inspired by, or continue to build on? Industry impact happens when you dare to be different, when you set an example that others can follow, and when you inspire others to take control of their own lives. In the case of Wade, his legacy or industry impact isn't just tied to what he did on the court. What industry impact or even life impact do you want to make? Maybe it's how you mentor others in your field, or how you built a business that made a difference. When you set out to design your career, you're also shaping what that impact will look like. So, think about it. What would it mean to make your own way in life, whether in your career, your personal life, or the mark you want to leave on the world? Designing your own path, either way, is empowering. Let's summarize the gems. Making your own way requires intentionality, risk, a redefinition of success, flexibility, and a vision for the impact you want to make. I hope this episode has inspired you to start thinking about how you can take your career into your own hands and start shaping the life and career you truly want. Remember, the path you create for yourself might not look like anyone else's, and that's the beauty of it. If you like today's episode, be sure to download, share this episode with a friend or a colleague. Thank you for tuning in to Hey, it's Arlesha. Until next time, keep creating your own path.